and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you're new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis and I post 2 videos a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday at 7 AM. And if you love a recipe video like this one and you want to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And now I'm going to share with you how to make my delicious caramelised onion and sage pork burgers. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make my delicious caramelised onion and sage pork burgers. Now this recipe is really easy to do, and I know that summer is over and that burgers are probably more of a summer thing, but we love to eat them all year round, to be honest. And I'm also quite lucky because I actually have a sage plant growing in my back garden, and sage is a perennial plant, a perennial herb that will grow all year round as well. Well, the one I have in my garden does, so I can tell you that it will grow all year round, and it grows in quite dark and damp conditions as well. So it's great if you haven't got much of a garden and you wanted to grow some herbs, then I think this is a brilliant one, and it also makes meals really tasty as well. So we're going to be having these burgers for dinner this evening, and of course while I was making them I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my delicious caramelised onion and sage pork burgers. I've got myself a large pan and I'm going to put this onto a high heat on my hob, and then I'm going to add oil to the base of this pan, and then I'm also going to add a couple of knobs of butter as well. And then I'm just going to leave this pan to heat up. The pan has started to get hot, the butter has melted and started to bubble as well, so that's a good sign. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 onion that I have peeled and sliced. So I'm just going to add that to the base of the pan like so. And I'm going to fry the onion now until it starts to sort of soften and go slightly golden brown as well. The onions have started to soften and they've started to go golden brown. The pan is getting slightly hot, so what I'm going to do is just turn the heat down a little, and I'm going to add some tamari to this. So tamari is a fermented soya sauce. I use this in a lot of my recipes. So you might have heard me talk about it before, but it's fermented for longer, but it's also gluten-free. I have a slight gluten intolerance, which is why I like to use tamari and not soya sauce. But if you can't get tamari, then you can always use soya sauce. So I just added a couple of tablespoons of tamari, or as I said, you can add soya sauce to this as well. And now I'm going to add some sugar to the base of this pan. So I'm just going to add some coconut sugar. You can use brown sugar if you want to. I'm using coconut sugar because it slides through the liver slightly quicker than brown sugar or refined sugars do. So I'm just using this. I'm just going to continue to fry this now for a little while. The onions are looking and smelling delicious, I have to say. That smells really nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in my sage as well. And I'm just going to fry the sage for a little while and continue to fry the onions as well. So I'll probably keep frying this for another couple of minutes now. The onions have been frying for a further few minutes, and as you can see they're starting to go a lovely golden brown colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these from the heat and I'm going to leave them to cool, and then I'll be making my burgers with these onions and the sage as well. The onions are nearly cool, so I thought I'd start making the burgers. So I have about 500 grams of pork mince in this bowl, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of ground almonds to this. I use ground almonds again because I have a slight gluten intolerance, so if you wanted to use breadcrumbs then you could. So I'm just going to add about 4 heaped tablespoons of ground almonds to the bowl like so, and then I'm going to add my onions to this as well. So the onions I've just cooked, I'm going to put those in as well, and then I'm going to mix all of these ingredients together. So I'm just going to go and dampen my hands, and then I will come back and I will make the burgers. I have dampened my hands slightly, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the ground almonds and the caramelised onions and sage that I made earlier. I'm going to mix those ingredients together, just scrunching them in the bowl like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these into burgers. So I'm going to split the mixture up into 4, and then I'll show you how I make a burger. So I'm just going to split the mixture like so. So I've got a big piece here like that, and then what I do is I just form a burger by patting it down with my hands, and then I'm going to put that on the plate, and I will put a little dimple in the middle, and that will hopefully help it to stop rising when it's in the oven, if that makes sense. So it won't come up like a big ball of meat, it will just be flat like a burger. So I'll show you again. So I'm just going to squash the meat and the other ingredients between my hands like so until it forms a burger shape. And then, as I said, I'm going to put this onto the plate, and I'm just going to put a dimple in the middle of the burger, and that will help stop it from rising when it goes into the oven. So I'm going to continue to make these burgers. So that's the burgers ready, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these into the fridge for about 4 hours. I'd say 4 to 6 hours, or if you want to make them the day before, then you can do, and you can just leave them in the fridge overnight. So I like to put them in the fridge because I will put a baking tray into the oven when I preheat it, and then I'll put the burgers straight onto the baking tray, and hopefully they will start cooking immediately, and it will bring out the fat of the pork as well and just make them really juicy and lovely. So that's why I always like to put the burgers in the fridge, just to firm them up and hopefully make them really juicy when it comes to cooking them. It's almost dinner time in our house, so I'm going to preheat the oven to 200 degrees. As I mentioned earlier, while the oven is preheating, I'm going to put a baking tray into the oven. That's a stoneware baking tray, so I don't need to put any greaseproof paper or any oil on that because it will absorb the oil and it won't get stuck to it. So I'm just going to leave that in the oven while the oven preheats. I have put the burgers onto the baking tray, the hot baking tray, so hopefully that has started the cooking process. And I'm going to put these into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. You may have noticed there are only 3 here. That's because I'm going to have leftovers tomorrow. I have my chips cooking away nicely underneath. So I'm going to pop these in now. And as I said, I'm going to cook these for about 25 to 30 minutes. The burgers are cooked, and I know they're cooked because the juices are running clear. I think my chips need slightly longer, however, so I'm just going to put those on there, and I'm going to leave my chips to cook for another 5 minutes, and I'm going to leave the burgers to cool, sit and rest for a little while. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for the lighting at the end of this video. It has gone dark now, so I've had to film this in the dark, but I just wanted to say that's how you make my delicious caramelised onion and sage pork burgers, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be having this for my dinner this evening, and it smells so good, I can't wait to eat it. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye!